Alright, brightness is up. Good morning, everybody. Panama City Hydrographics checking in. It's a beautiful Florida day in our destroyed city. Yeah. Well, that's going to be several years in repairing. But anyway, so yesterday we finished installing this front end stuff here. We got the steering rack in place and the control arms bolted in. Mind you, everything hasn't been torqued down because, I mean, why? But everything's where it should be. We're looking good on that one. We got our input shaft here, and as you can see, plenty of clearance all the way around. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so today we're going to work on maybe finishing putting together this rear diff that I welded up before, and then probably finishing removing and pulling apart our rear end here in preparation for our new rear subframe that was made for that 350Z differential. So we got a lot to do. If I get through all that, I'll probably start working on the body and clearing up some of these rough spots from our glorious hurricane that came through and just wrecked our shit. So anyway, check back in with you guys later. Alright, ladies and gents, you have to forgive the wobbly nature of my video. So yeah, we did a thing. Yesterday I was trying to make a recording of the whole process of hacking this out. And the camera died on me halfway through, so here we are. I decided that seeing as this is a long-term project and because I'm waiting on various components to be fabricated and whatnot, that I would much rather go ahead and design a tube front and tub the car in the front. So we took things down here on the front rails and got rid of our old wheel wells, and we're good to go. Next thing will be to sand down the paint off the towers there and fabricate some plates, and then plate off the lower portion of the frame rail there, and then just start building out. I'm looking into getting a pipe bender, but if I can find a company that sells some kind of like a prefab kit that at least will allow me to get the main hoop portions done, then I'll probably end up rolling with that and working from there. But in the meantime, seeing as everything is held steady with the subframe there, I may just leave it like this for a while. It certainly gives me a great deal more accessibility. I can get to everything. Dropping this engine and getting out of here is going to be significantly easier than it used to be, and then should be much simpler making adjustments and whatnot. Anyway, it looks horrid, but we'll get it sorted out. Just needs a little time. Anyway, check back in with you later. Alright, so hours of work, and this is where we are. So I decided to go ahead and do a tube front end. Getting this front frame off was a huge pain in the ass. A lot more work than I thought it would have been. It took quite a bit longer than I expected, but here we are. So once I get this harness out of here and get this cleared away, I can use this as a template later to build my tube front end. I'm thinking of integrating parts of it into the tube frame, using parts of the stock frame to make up the new frame, but we'll see how it goes. But for now, this is where we are, and this should make servicing and working on the car significantly easier. I'd imagine, dropping the engine, takes 20 minutes or so instead of, all kinds of acrobatic feats trying to get it out of there. And I can now drop the engine as a whole set up by removing it via the subframe instead of having to fiddle with all this nonsense. So it should be fairly useful. I'll check you guys later. Alright guys, so here's where we are. Got this spindle and shock mount out, got the old subframe out. These parts are not looking really good. They're pretty rusty and nasty, but we're looking pretty good here. Got most of this stuff out. I'll probably do the other side tomorrow or whatever. I got an outing this evening that I got to get ready for, but it's coming along, and we're ready for old Nigel to drop us off our new and shiny goodies. Once I get this drivetrain done, get this back end in, get the drive shaft done, I can disassemble the whole thing and do everything drivetrain wise to a T, which would be pretty awesome, because then once all that's set, I just have to work on, fixing nasty things, electrical. I really hate electrical, but yeah. So you start moving towards buttoning this thing up once we get the drivetrain in order, which would be really, really cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm blabbering on about nothing, ain't I? Alright guys, thanks for checking in. Alright guys, checking in with another update on the V8 build. Alright, so here we've got our shifter base. This came off of one of the new SS Camaros. It came out the exact year, but I think it was like a 2015. So
I've already gone ahead and cut off the two legs. At this, there's a line on the body that exists. I guess you guys can see it there. I cut just in front of it. And I chose that area because that's the point at which the body becomes solid. It's a pretty decent cast piece of aluminum, so we're going to see how well this welds. Anyway, this part's done. We're going to leave this like it is. Now we need to take 2 inches off of these legs here and then check out their orientation and weld them in place. I'm probably going to have to cut a couple pieces out of this waist portion here to fill in some spaces and make it strong. But I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Sorry about that. So here's how we look now. There's no hardly any additional stub sticking out the back there. So we cut a little slot here. We can slide it back. I wanted to keep this shifter as high as possible to allow clearance for that rod. See, that's the connector right there for the shift linkage. It actually sits fairly high. Where's the rod? I apologize. I don't typically know what the hell I'm doing around here, so it's all improvised and sloppy. Anywho. Get in there. Come on. I'll put this down for a second. In there. Alright. So that's the linkage right there. Get this leg over it. So I needed to have clearance for this to be able to make its travel back and forth beneath the body without any hindrance. Okay, so we got this. Sorry, again. Losing focus. I'm not very good at this, guys, sorry. Alright, so this one here fits pretty good, right? So we're sitting high, and even if I elevate this rod a little, oops, when you need extra hands. Hang on, let's try this. Ta-da! Not quite. Boom. Let's see. Anyway, I think given the height I have it at right now, I'll have more than enough space to operate the shifting. And it sits a little bit high, but beggars can't be choosers. Honestly, I mean, I'm building some custom stuff here using pre-existing things that weren't even meant for this, not in the slightest. So I'm going to mark that. We're going to make some tack welds there, and then we're going to come back. So I'll be back soon with some more horrendous video. Yay, I'm back, and here we go. So I got it all set up in a non-retarded fashion. So as you can see, it's lining up there pretty well. Not the biggest of gaps to fill in. I can tack it in place and gouge it out and get a nice root pass later. But as far as everything's concerned, I think that looks pretty decent where it is. So yeah, we're going to try and weld all this up, and we'll get that other arm in there later. That's going to take a little more finagling. You know, I might have to cut it halfway and then give it a little bit of an angle to bring it in line with the other ones. It's sitting way out here on the side. Anyway, I think that looks pretty decent, and we're going to go with that. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, ladies and gents, checking back in. Here's where we are. This cast aluminum that they made this out of actually welds quite well. Quite surprised. There are not a whole lot of impurities coming into the surface, and you know, that I'm having to like fuse and then grind out, fuse and grind out. Those are just straight up tacks. So we got the bottom tacked, and let me get this off here. Ooh, warm. That's still warm. Okay, got the bottom tacked and the top here. Sorry about all the moving around there, but we got it all. We got that one in place. So now we just got to do something about this little number here. So I'm gonna see about maybe cutting this one halfway through and then just bending it somewhere right around here to meet here, and then we'll weld in the two spots So I'll be back in a little bit and I'll show you how all that comes together. Alright guys, so here we are, excessively welded for sure, but oops, it is done. So we're going to clean it up and we'll be back. Alright gentlemen, we're back, and let me tell you, this was a whole lot more work than I thought it was, but you know what, I'm having fun. So okay, so we got this one in here, solid welded. I filled in the corners, made my own little bend here. I mean, aluminum's so easy to play with. I mean, I just kind of filled it in as I went and ground it down. On this one here, I had it going straight in, but this rod was like touching it, so there would have been no room. I mean, massive amounts of room this way, right? But no room here to shift or select gears. As it is, let me get this all the way in. As it is, looks like I still need a hair more clearance, but I can get it. That's not a big deal. But you know, we're almost there. So it looks like I need to take a little bit more off of this stick here. But we're gonna get the lever in there and see where we're at. But we're making some progress. Definitely making some progress. I mean, got this sitting up here. It's still movable. It's sticking real good. Hang on. Let me out. Try that up there. Whee! Okay. That's what we got going on the bottom. So this here is pretty much all solid because I ground back and welded it in, and then I ground back and welded in. This actually was the hollow from the angled in. So this is all solid aluminum now. I mean, this unit's going to be heavier than the stock unit now, but who cares, right? I mean, this is all custom. Surely this aluminum piece is lighter than some steel brackets I could have made myself. But anyway, yeah. So we're looking good. I didn't bother clearing away everything. There was really no point. But it's mounted. And I mean, I need to take a little more material here, here and here on the sides for this to sit flush. That's where it's grabbing. But I mean, aside from that, this portion is pretty damn close to done. So I'll check back in with you guys later. Alright gentlemen, I'd say a day's work well done. Here's where we are. So we got plenty of clearance. As you can see, it is it's hooked up. I mean, I gotta actually bolt down this rear section here so I can pull the gears and whatnot, but it's in place. I'm pretty proud of this. I mean, this is a lot of work that I put in here. So we cut down this rod here and mounted a little U-bolt joint on the bottom, which is holding this in place now. But that right there is your complete linkage. Now I still got to tighten everything down, which is why we got all this horrific play and whatnot. But I'm happy. All right, guys. Well, I'll probably tighten all this stuff down tomorrow. Goof around with it some, and then I'll get back to you.